Cool. Does this work? Nice. Okay, welcome to the next OpenEngine stream. The purpose, this is my streaming plan that I've put together in Obsidian in my notes. So the first thing I'm going to do is explain the purpose of this stream. Basically, there is a tech guy called CJ Handmere who I am quite interested in. I think he produces lots of really interesting blogs and work and stuff. He's making a company called Terraform that's turning air and water into natural gas, into methane, which is like a carbon neutral way of producing a really high energy density fuel, which I think is awesome, because we don't really want to stop using high energy density fuel because it's so useful, but we also, maybe there's an argument that we could end up causing damage to the climate, possibly, but we may as well not do it if we can. And also it could make oil fuel cheaper, which is even cooler, even more energy for everyone to use. So the purpose of this stream is to go onto his blog and pull 300-ish web pages from his blog and put them into a search engine that then I can use to do like semantic searches across his blogs. So that's what we're going to do. And what I'm going to use to do this is the OpenEngine, which is a open source software toolkit that I'm creating that will help anybody run a Docker container, and from that Docker container run their own search engine. And the idea is, the problem I have with search engines is that they never give me what I want, because they, what's the right word for it? They gravitate towards the mean. They gravitate towards the average human and what the average human wants. And there's no curation. It's all algorithms. And even if the algorithm does know who you are and roughly what you want, it seems like almost always the most normie content, if you like, predominates. The people who can game the algorithm best, they dominate. And so it's not actually the best content, because the people writing the best content are probably not going to spend lots of time figuring out how to game the algorithm. They're going to write great content and then just publish it, and then hopefully their audience finds it. So the issue with search engines, big search engines, is that you cannot find the information you want easily. The purpose of OpenEngine is to give people the power to search the sites that they want, to index the sites that they want, and produce a curated search index that then they can serve as a website that is for a very specific niche and works very well in that specific niche. It's crap for general search. It'll never work for general search, but in this specific niche, it will work. And in the future, I think what we could do is, an expansion is, once people are producing lots of these sites and we're conquering the niches, there will be an option to send the index to a meta search engine, to just OpenEngine proper. And then OpenEngine proper will have all these different search indexes to call upon, and it will be a competitor with something like Google, but free and open source, where everyone can see the index, and it's much easier to like tailor the search and stuff like that. Haven't worked out how that's going to work exactly yet, but that is the dream. Yeah. And so the reason I'm scanning CJ Handmere's blog, like I said, I find him interesting, is because I want to create a site called the Usefulati. And the Usefulati is going to be a tech site, or tech / just interesting people site, who are actually doing useful things in the world, who are making a difference, who aren't just saying things, who are actually doing things, and just their searchable works, where they publish them, like maybe their YouTube videos or their blog posts or whatever, like the content they put out that's high effort. Because it's high effort, probably going to be skipping things like X because most of the time that's not really high effort content. Yeah, and I want to create this site, and then I want to release it, and I want it to be, at the very least, I will use it because it will help me find content that I want to read, that I'm interested in. Because at the moment, YouTube does an all right job of serving me videos, but it taps in to the deeper parts of my mind, which maybe is content that I want to watch that isn't helpful. So, for example, I quite like fighting sports, and I get shown tons of fighting videos because I'll watch them, but afterwards I don't necessarily feel good about it. And so it's like that's like my Big Mac content. And I don't want to watch that all the time. So if I can make this site the Useful-arty, and I can provide myself with interesting content, searchable content, etc., without doing that, then that's a big win. Briefly, the tech works like this. So the tech stack I'm using is Python plus a database called Quadrant, which is a free and open source Rust-based database. Postgres for storing metadata information on websites. And in the future, it will be Nginx to serve the site, if you like, and to connect to possibly Fast API for the search functionality, and Svelte for the front end, because Svelte is apparently very fast. I mean, I haven't used it fully yet, but basically, yeah. And so what we have so far is this. I've got a crawler, which is like an asynchronous crawler. It uses patterns to figure out whether or not URLs that it finds on web pages should be searched. And then we've also got, so basically this is just collecting web pages. It searches a web page, it gets all the URLs of that web page. It then filters the URLs based on what I want to search. So if I'm searching Casey Handmer's blog, I don't want URLs for WordPress.com, for example. I don't care about that. I'm not interested in crawling WordPress. I'm interested in crawling his blog. And so the only links that I'm going to follow are links that have CJ Handmer in them. Otherwise, not interested. Yeah, so we got this, and then what this does is it takes the URL, finds extra URLs to crawl, and then hands off the HTML content in a beautiful soup object to a response queue. Now this response queue goes to this function, process.py, which is also asynchronous, and waits until it's got a response queue. Waits until it's got something from the response queue. And if it does, then it goes through and processes, well, depending on what the response type is. In this case, I've only got web page. If it's web page, then it uses a sentence transformers model to... Oh, I don't need this anymore. I have to get rid of that. Then it uses this to encode the model into a vector, and this vector is a semantic representation of the meaning of the text. So that the HTML is split up into chunks of 450 words, and each of those chunks is encoded, and that vector is a numerical representation of what the text is saying. And this is important because it means that when someone types in a search query, I can encode that into the same vector space, so the same sort of numerical representation. And if two numerical representations are close to one another, then the two things are linked. And if they're linked, then it's a good match, basically. This is one of the things that Google does. Okay. And then this information, the vectors are stored in the Quadrant database, and the metadata is stored in a Postgres database. Okay. The whole thing is going to be delivered eventually via Docker, and everything's going to be running on Docker. My idea is to try and keep the Docker container as small and lightweight as possible, so that it's possible to host this potentially on, like, permanently host this for, like, I don't know, free, hopefully on AWS free tier, let's say. Might be possible, but certainly under, like, trying to think £15 a month basically. And then in order to pay for it, the idea is that in the future I would integrate Google ads, Google search ads, which I think would work pretty well. I think that should, I mean, if you're only getting like 100 searches a day, then it really doesn't matter, does it? But if you're getting millions of searches a day and it's hammering your hardware, you need a way to support that. So yeah, I think Google search ads for the time being, but maybe in the future move to creating my own ad provider for OpenEngine, so Open Ads, let's say, and then that would be a competitor to Google as well. Haha. Right, so let's see. I think that just about covers it. Bosh. So let's see if we can get this to work. So one of the things I like to do, because I have a data science background, is there we go, is use Jupyter notebooks. And this is the Jupyter notebooks section for crawling CJ Hammer's blog. Oh yeah, I should also say, actually, this is the code for putting together the crawlers and the processors. Processors. Yeah. And essentially it just sets up the process in async IO, and similarly we just wait on the crawler. I mean, actually, technically I should probably put this into async IO as well, because then I would want to, then I would probably want to do check on the queues, I think. Yeah, I'm just thinking this would work better as an async IO task that I could then await, because I would want to set end set. So essentially I'm sending in some async IO events, and when the end event is set, the crawler and the processor will exit. I've also been thinking it would probably be a good idea to have the processor do multiple different vectors at the same time. Anyway, never mind. Let's just use this inefficient version for now. Never optimize. Never optimize ahead of time. Okay, I might not end up doing these two bottom ones in this. In fact, I've only got like an hour now, so I expect this will just be a form of integration testing. So port gather. So let's just see, what do we have? Start ephemeral Postgres, and this should return me something, shouldn't it? Okay, yeah, so it's a, what's it going to return me? Tuple, temporary directory, literal. Huh. Str or int? Cool. So what I'm doing now is basically I've got this functionality set up Postgres, and it creates directory for a Postgres database and stuff. Running on, yep, that's nice. This is Supermaven, by the way. This is like the best code. This is a free version as well, by the way. It's the best code completion tool. So good. Yeah, that's fine. Cool. So yeah, this is just used for testing purposes, and this is effectively a test because I'm gonna get these 300 links, and then I'm gonna save the database and the vector database instance data so that I can then load it up and use it when I'm testing the search stuff. I want to change this to. Yeah. I wonder if you change your. Okay. So then I think I need import sidecop g2 dot connect. Oh, I can't remember. Is that right? I don't know if it is. Let's go to my conf test. So I've been using PyTest to run my tests, and this is, oh wow, that's a lot of comments. Site. Client. What's this? Let's get that. So this code here gives me a Postgres connection. And then if I do import quadrant client, I can say set up the quadrant connection. Hey, that's not too bad, is it? That's just copied it. So basically this is what I've been using, and it just copied it. It's so good. It's ridiculously good. Yeah, that should work. Then, oh yeah, 7 model. That's the model I've been using. I think what I might also need to do, because this sets up Postgres. Let's create this table as well. Yep. At a certain point, you're like, I may as well, like, I wonder if I can just get that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Bosh. So this is going to create the table that I'm interested in, and maybe I also want another table. Maybe I want, let's see what we've got here. This is Casey. He's great. I mean, just look at this stuff. Change the way I think. Look at this. So good. That's literally so good. Anyway. Okay, so plan is search this. So then we want Cool. Does it need revisit delta max iter? So we need to set that to 300, and that should be it. Actually, I'll tell you what, let's do 10 for now. I'm going to do gather.gather. And hopefully that will work. Just try 5. Let's see what happens. No thanks. So here we go. This would be attempt number 1. I wonder if I could, yeah, I should probably, when I make this. Cuter? The system cannot find specified. Right, okay. Name temperature is not defined. Okay, so we didn't even make it past set up Postgres. That's always good. Let's try again. Same thing. Let's try PyTest and see if that works. Okay. Okay. See, I wrote a lot of this code on Mac, so it could be an issue with me being on Windows now. In fact, it probably is. The system cannot find the file specified. Fine. Well, you know what we do in this situation, don't you? Every good coder knows what they're going to do now. All of us. I'm going to do this. Bosh. Please help me, ChatGPT. I don't know what I did wrong. Ah. Okay. Doesn't know what that is. See, do you see what I mean? Why is this the first thing? Why is W3 schools the first thing? It's such a pain in the arse. I'm not interested in that. I want to know what the actual Postgres people think, not what W3 schools thinks. Oops. Christ. I'll be back shortly. Okay, I'm back. Okay. Well, I'll try it. Let's see what they want. Let's see if should I just run from a elevator PowerShell? Maybe. Okay. Look at that. Super fast. Hell yeah. Is it an issue that you've seen this? Do I actually need to change that? Okay, I don't think it really matters that much if you guys see that. Installing. Should really have something that goes across, shouldn't they? Anyway. This is annoying. So as I go, I like to make notes. In Obsidian. Christ, it takes a while, doesn't it? might read one of Casey Handemer's blogs. Is it really cut off like that? Oh, come on, Casey. That is shocking, isn't it? Offshore wind, onshore wind. Solar. Nuclear. Cheapest source in 2023. Look at this, solar just conquering everything. So these headline blogs or something. You see, this is the kind of information that I want to read, you know? Like this GLP-1 stuff, GLP-1 drugs. That's interesting. I want to read papers about that. I want to read blogs from people who are working on this. I want to watch their podcasts. I want to know like what actually is the cutting edge of all this stuff. And just even reading one blog from someone who is actually useful can help you find this information. Ah, good. Right. Can you imagine if we're the first generation that gets immortality? Or the first couple of generations? I suppose then the boomers would sort of be in power forever. Maybe that wouldn't be too good. Anyway. Right, let's try initdb. Initdb is not recognized. Let's try it here. Initdb is not recognized. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I might need to shut this down. I might not. Let's see. If I just run that. No, it doesn't work because it's the same issue. So I'll kill you. Start you again. And come on. Warnings.warn assertion error. Torch not compiled with CUDA enabled. Oh crap. Never mind then. I suppose the CUDA won't be enabled in normal Docker containers, so kill that. Try again. It did it. Or did it? What is Activity monitor? What is it? Task manager. No, that's all good. Did it actually do it then? Let's check. So now I need, in fact, I'll do it as markdown. What is it? Vector client dot. What is it? I think it's like stream or something. Scroll. Conversion scroll filter collection name. It was embeddings. Limit. No limit. Don't know. Gonna have to cheat. It's that. I was nearly there. Okay. See if this works. Ooh. Nothing. So it didn't work, I guess. Let's try this. I have a feeling you can't await stuff. Maybe you can. Called process error. Oh, yeah. Kill you. Maybe I should separate this out, actually, rather than restart this every single time. Aha! Aha! Alright, we're getting somewhere now. Yeah, I'm gonna take most of this and put it up here. I can delete this. This is, I don't need to do this every single time. Don't need to do this every single time as well. Yeah, this, actually no, I'll leave that there. Let's give this a better name. Would have been too good, wouldn't it, for it to work straight away? That never happens. Ah, okay. Well, this is something I've not come across yet. So want to create a test for this maybe. I'm actually going to move this down a little bit. So again, this is a very good way to write code. Oops. Where you basically, when you find a problem, write a test that is that problem and then solve that problem. And then slowly you end up with code that's really well tested and easy to develop on, because you know that pretty much everything you've faced already, you've already handled. Okay. Def. That. Etc. That. Yeah, that's what I expect. And then if I do PyTest test, in fact, actually, let's do poetry shell. It's called Py. String index out of range. Yep, that's what we want to avoid. And so, open this. Handle relative L, which is in utility. Don't need to be in here now, do I? I may as well leave it in here as I have done, but if I do test utility. I think that works. Huh. I've got the black formatter on. And when I write code on Mac OS, for some reason the black formatter doesn't work. So every single time I open a file and save it, it is going to format it for me, which is slightly annoying, to be honest. That's kind of annoying. Oh well. Anyway. Yep, that's the error I'm looking for. And let's go to utility, and then let's say continue. Bam. That's what we're looking for. Should work now as well. Cool. Okay, I'm just gonna, I may as well write this. So this is a little tool, command line tool called what is this? Okay, let's see what else we got. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, this tool is really good for helping you do like really nice conventional commits. So you can, it basically means you can do really good commits from your command line, which is quite fast. I know, test. Check, what is it? It's always a good idea to sort of do this as you go. So do your git commits as you're moving along. Right, so that should work now. Let's see if we get the same issue. Okay, LQ1. String index out of range. What? No, it's not. Oh, that's because we don't have this. Let's just restart. Yep. Might have to do that. Okay, let's try that. Is he going to complain because I've already done it? Nice. We try this. How to get response for Earl. Huh. Okay. Failed to get response. That's interesting. Let's try that. Seen else.getAll. What? That's random. Huh? What? Let's see if I just restart. It worked before, surely. So if I restart and then I run this. So because of this. Okay, let's try this instead. Let's see if I can do BBC. Maybe get rid of that. Let's try that. Kill that. I may as well check and see. Nope, no points. That sucks. Okay. What? Okay. Right. So it still doesn't want to do cases, but the first one works, which is weird. Let's try that. Kill ya. Yep, that's fine. Response 301 move permanently. What? Hmm. Things are never simple, are they? Things are never simple. Let's take that. followed redirects equals true when you make a request. Okay. Let's go with that. But actually, I'll just save that for now. Save that for now. See if it works first. In fact, let's just run PyTest and see if everything's still working. If I do that. Quadrant client cannot be interpreted as an integer. Where is this? Process HTML to vectors. Oh. Don't need to anymore. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so this is the end of the stream. My family have arrived.